almost 24 hours later, and I still can't believe the Pistons did not get a call on this play.
Three-pointer, off the mark, rebound deflected, chased down, saved by Grimes to Fontecchio. Knocked away, Hartenstein picks it up, out to DiVincenzo. 10 seconds ago, he throws it away. Ball loose, picked up by Brunson. Brunson inside the Hart, Hart's banks it in. Knicks take the lead. Monty Williams is furious. He thought a foul should have been called. There was so much contact. But Josh Hart with the big bucket and a free throw coming out.
That has to be the most soul-crushing loss of the season. Feels like the worst loss in the past 2 years. Like, I remember last season, the Pistons were on this stretch where they would lose off offensive rebounds, putbacks, and that's happened this season once. We're just coming off the loss to Orlando where Paolo hits a freaking insane shot, which looked like a travel, but in the pool report, the NBA confirmed it wasn't a travel. And then this game, 48 hours later, that's how the Pistons lose. And man, I don't know. I'm just like, this season, like I tweeted out like something like along the lines of another heartbreaking loss. The Pistons just continue to find ways to lose. And I think some people took that as me saying this team suck and, you know, being frustrated at the players. But that's just me saying, like, literally the Pistons just find new ways to lose. Like, it's a fact, even if it's not their fault, like last night. Like, it's just like, how did they not get that win? Like, just that final play. Like, while I talk, I was going to play it again. Look at the amount, like, that has to be the most chaotic finish to an NBA game this season. Now, mind you, I've only watched pretty much 80% of the time Pistons of NBA basketball, but this is just insane. Like, turnovers left, right, and center, tipped rebounds, just utter chaos. And of course, the Pistons lose. Like, they come out of that under all those circumstances as a loser. Like, there is no way they would get any luck. And all night long in this game, it felt like the ball would bounce to the Knicks. And like, I know that is such like a fan of like a, I don't know, like a fan, like, because I'm a Pistons fan, that's such a thing for me to say, like, oh, poor Pistons. But it actually felt like the ball just bounced to the Knicks all night. And it's just like, oh, far out. Like, can this team catch a break? Like, they played, you know, apart from those all bench lineups, which had some moments, but for the most part are just utter, you know, no offense to the players, but like those lineups are utter crap. And that's a reflection on Monty. But like, this team played their ass off. And Quentin Grimes in that fourth quarter scored 14 points. Made play after play on the defensive end, hit huge shot after huge shot. And it just felt like after weathering all those like sort of tip balls going to the Knicks and things not going their way, it felt like the Pistons were going to pull this one out. It felt like when Grimes hit that three to put them up 111, 110 with like 50 seconds to go, it felt like, okay, this feels right now. This is like, you know, when you just feel like something's right. It just felt like this is right. Like, they're going to win. Knicks, former Knicks players are going to get their revenge on their old team. Pistons haven't beaten the Knicks in like 4 seasons. The Knicks always beat the brakes off Detroit, especially at Madison Square Garden. Knicks were undermanned as well. Like, I know the Pistons are missing some guys, but the Knicks are missing like 2 of their 4 best players in Julius Randle and OG Anunoby. Plus, like, they're undermanned. It's like, this is the game. The Pistons deserve this win. They should have beaten Orlando, but they're going to beat a top 4 Eastern Conference team tonight on the road. You know, they're going to get some reward for their past 2 games of great play, but no, that's the ending we get. And this time it's the refs. You know, against the Magic, it was disputable. I didn't want to do the whole big song and dance about the refs because, as I said in my last video, that's not really my style. And I believe team, like the rest don't have a bigger impact as you think. But tonight, that goes out the window. My theory on that bullshit for this game, that final 10 seconds or whatever that play, that lost the Pistons a game. And Monty Williams in the press conference was furious. I don't think he's going to get a fine, but he was calling out the refs. He just didn't swear. But like, he stormed off. He didn't answer any questions. And then Cade, Cade's a very cool and calm kind of guy in press conferences, but he was like laughing. But it was that laugh where you're frustrated because if you don't laugh, you cry, or you don't laugh, you're going to start like losing your cool. Like, and he just used the word livid to describe how the locker room was feeling. Jalen Duran, I'm pretty sure it'll still be on his Instagram stories if you check now. Like, he was reposting stuff from pages that was like posting how the Pistons got screwed. Like, Quentin Grimes quote tweeting people on Pistons Twitter about how the Pistons got screwed. Like, the team is furious. And it was reported that even if they challenged that no call, which the refs admitted they missed, where that tackle from DiVincenzo on Asar, the Pistons, this game, there's no scenario where this game can be, they replay the last minute, because supposedly you can only like contest and get victories or that kind of thing if or get the outcome changed if the refs awarded a 6 foul to a guy who wasn't actually fouled out, or it took a player off the court as opposed to a foul, is my understanding. So look, I hate to be so negative to start this, but I think that's just how we're all feeling in like a game that the Pistons just really fought hard and again deserve the win. Just to get screwed like that at the end, like part of me felt like when they were up and the Knicks had the ball to win, I just felt like they're going to make the shot. Like, I thought the Knicks were going to win. But then when Brunson missed, then Fontecchio got that board or Grimes corralled the rebound and threw it to Fontecchio. Like, okay. But then it gets tipped away again. I'm like, okay, they're going to lose again. But then when Asar got that steal, I actually thought, all right, DiVincenzo, that's a foul. But no, the play keeps going. And that slither of hope I had for a millisecond that the Pistons were going to get out of there with a W was gone immediately because Josh Hart gets that shot. And yeah, just another freaking heartbreaking loss. And I mean, I touched on Grimes. He was brilliant in that last quarter. But even in the first half, when his shots weren't falling, he had like 2 or 3 blocks. His defensive effort is amazing. Like I said it last week, but watch this guy fight through screens. Like he is so intense and he's so strong and physical and moves so far. He has this real fast twitch to him, even with the ball in his hands on offense. Like just the way he steps back, like everything's at such a high intensity. Like, and I think that's what this Pistons team lacks, and that's why it stands out so much. And he's, on the Pistons or on the Knicks, like on one of the best defensive teams or one of the worst defensive teams, like his defense stands out. He's an excellent defensive player no matter what. But it just, I feel like he really set a tone once again on the defensive end for this team just to bring some energy. Because I feel like sometimes with the Pistons core 4, like Asar's generally pretty good defensively, but the other 3 can kind of waver in their effort at times in Durant, Cade, and Ivy. But I feel like having someone like Grimes on the floor can really help up the intensity on that end, and hopefully that can feed into the younger guys' play, though Grimes is a younger player, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think I'm just going to round this episode out with just praising Cade Cunningham. Best first half of his career, 20 points, 6 of 6 shooting, 3 of 3 from downtown. I think 5 of 5 from the free throw line, like 4 assists. And the stats don't even do it justice. Like, he controlled that entire first half. Like, the pace, he had an excellent feed in the pick and roll to James Wiseman, like completely fooled the Knicks defense and threw this wraparound pass on point and on time for Wiseman to dunk it. And then he had another sort of lob pass where he drew the defense in and just sort of, threw it up softly for Durant to dunk. Couple of nice assists in transition to Asar, like 2 blocks. Like, he had 2 really good blocks. One on Brunson where he just flat out like ripped it from Brunson while he was going up for a free throw, for a layup. Sorry. just an awesome game. Third quarter, once again, I think he scored 12 points. Didn't score a point in the fourth, looked to run out of gas. But one thing with Cade, and I think this is why he struggles in the clutch, teams just load up on him, they trap him in the pick and roll, and they force him to give it up. And that's where sometimes those lackadaisical passes from him show. Because that's still, even though the turnovers have gotten better, he still just has a tendency to throw these kind of lackadaisical passes, like these one-handed lefty passes. They just don't have enough zip on them. They don't have enough zip, or he telegraphs it sometimes. For such a good playmaker, and I think it's just some of it's because he has the ball so much, but he sometimes just telegraphs pass and doesn't have enough power on them. And teams like the Knicks, even an undermanned Knicks team, like they're just going to pick that off. And he had 5 turnovers and just couldn't make a shot in the fourth quarter. So that fourth quarter probably is what takes this game from being probably the best of his career to, just a really solid, great performance. But nonetheless, Cade at MSG this year in the bright lights is averaging in 2 games. He's averaging like 32 points, 8 assists on 57% shooting. So he's stepping up under the brightest lights. And both those games of Pistons nearly won and should have probably won. So it's nice to see Cade back from the All-Star break. I think 3 games he's played, I think he's scored 30 in 2 of those games and then 26 against the Magic. And, those 26 points, it was a lower scoring game and he was looking awesome. So that is definitely a bright spot. So I'm going to round it out there. Pistons play the Bulls probably by the time you're watching this. So I should be back to do a quick recap of that game. This is a game they desperately need a win. They've lost 6 in a row now. And they started that West Coast trip for the All-Star really well. They had 2 poor losses against the Lakers and Phoenix, and a pretty poor loss to the Pacers. So, but their past 2 games have been really solid. So they need to get a win tonight with a great performance, because if they lose to the Bulls, now it's 7 losses. This gets to double digits again, which I don't think it will, because this new starting 5 is working and the roster's changed and Isaiah Stewart's back tonight. But they need a win to reward the past 2 games, to keep the morale up, to show that they're doing things right. Because if they have another close loss tonight, that's when I start to get concerned that confidence they've built, whilst I don't think it'll ever be as bad as it was in that 28-game losing streak. You cannot have another double-digit losing streak. Like, I just think even if they're all close losses across the next 4 games, if they get the 10 straight losses, yeah, I don't know. I'm not even going to touch on the Monty Williams thing. That might be one for after the Bulls game if they have a bad loss on that. But yeah, there's enough Monty Williams discourse going around, and rightfully so. So anyway, just a quick video today. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks to everyone for subscribing. If you haven't already yet, go follow us on Instagram. Pistons Intellect is the handle. Some great content on there, short form video that you guys might like, highlights wise. Yeah. Until later, go Pistons.